Hey, I don't see the chat in the on the screen there. Oh well. Guess we'll have to figure that out later. How's everybody doing? Wow, I must have pulled a few people from the drama channels over. Maybe not. Maybe not. I've been busy today. I'm actually trying to make my... I'm going to do the membership thing on my channel. It's actually pretty cool, so we'll see if it works. I don't know. But YouTube has a membership. People get badges and then like little emojis and things like that you can put out on the that actually show up in the chat, which is pretty cool. So that'll be coming up. Also, let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, Kelly, one of the freaks named Kelly, K-H-E-L-I. You see her in there sometime with some numbers after it. Well, she sent me a package today. It's pretty amazing. She goes, "Hey Gray, what's your address?" She sent me a package, and hold on. And the package was Kit Kats. So she blew away whatever that argument was people were having yesterday about Kit Kats and, you know, who wins what or whatever. Yeah, she pretty much blew them all out of the way. Okay, so first of all, she gave me a huge box of the dark chocolate ones. There's probably 60 of them in there. I'll probably have to give some away, but I did keep some and put them in the freezer. All right. But then, look at this thing. What in the hell is this? I mean, that's probably the biggest Kit Kat bar I've ever seen in my life. All right. This one here isn't dark chocolate, but my God, look at this thing. All right. So. I don't know if I'll be able to eat all that one either, but look at that, huh? I'll never be want for a Kit Kat bar yet in my entire life, is what I was going to say. So thank you for sending that. And she also sent like a little Hershey dog chew pillow thing that's over there. I don't have it in front of me. But very cool. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, these are amazing. Dark chocolate Kit Kats. Come on. And they're only 200 calories a piece. Unfortunately, I ate 4 of them. Alright, so that's 800. No, there's no way I'm eating that whole thing. I can't do it. Yeah, but definitely be doing a membership thing here pretty soon. And hopefully you guys want to sign up for it. It might be easier. I mean, the thing is what I don't want is I have a bunch of Patreon supporters, and it's such a better thing for me because Patreon doesn't take any money really. I mean, like 5% or something. But even membership on YouTube takes 30%, which is less than they take from super chats, I guess. So, yeah. What I'm gonna do for my Patreon is I'm gonna try to see how I can include them in the same things, because I really haven't spent a lot of time. It's really easy to do the perks on the YouTube side of it, but it's not that easy on Patreon. But so I'm gonna try to figure out how I can incorporate them in. Hey, thanks, Shelly Ann. Thank you very much. So, anyways, that'll probably be rolling out here in the next couple days, maybe Monday, something like that. No, there goes my stomach. No, really? Huh. Wonder why it won't let you. So, do you remember, I think it was a few weeks back, a lady named Amanda called in, and she has a brother. I think it was her brother, I believe. and the brother's name is DJ Fickey, and she's been at CrimeCon and different events trying to get some exposure to the her brother was shot in the face with a shotgun, and the medical examiner ruled it a suicide. But I mean, just the little bit that I've looked at it, it's impossible for them to have ruled it a suicide. At most, it would be an accidental shooting, okay? But there's no way in hell it's a suicide, okay? Yeah, I mean, it literally, just in the little bit of time that I've looked at it, there's absolutely no way it's a suicide. So what I thought what we would do is just slowly go through. She gave me just a ton of files. So just over time, we'll go through the entire thing. Yeah, I mean, hey, Kelly, did you see that I showed your Kit Kats on the screen? Yeah. I mean, look at this thing, everybody. Is that the biggest Kit Kat you've ever seen in your life? Oh, see, it's so big I can't even negotiate it around my mic or anything. Now, there's no doubt in my mind. There's zero chance that it's a suicide. Okay. See, that's the thing is, whatever happened, somebody made a really ridiculous choice there. There's absolutely no way it's a suicide. What are you, a medical examiner, Gray? Good. No, I'm not saying that whatsoever. I'm telling you that it was not a suicide 100%. All right, zero chance. And it's not it isn't because I'm just saying that. It actually comes out of the, hey, how's it going, Logic? What's up? Did you get the Mavic Mini? Yeah, it isn't even logic. It's actually literally words out of the mouths of, like, everybody. All right, so let's just play the 911 call first, okay? So just imagine, apparently, I mean, we'll get through some other documents and so forth, but we'll just start with the 911 call. And what happened was apparently DJ was shot in the house. There's a guy that was there that was sleeping with DJ's wife, and they're all in the same area, and it's a mess, okay, really.
Walker County, no.
Yes, sir. I need a ambulance at 862 Nicky Jack Road.
Okay, what's the problem?
We got a guy that shot himself.
Okay, what did he shoot himself with?
A shotgun.
Okay, is he breathing?
It looks like it. I don't know. I just think
How old is he?
I tried to get the gun. And it went off. And he had it in his mouth. And I was like, man, you know.
What is it, a 12 gauge?
Yeah.
Is he still able to talk? Is he still able to talk?
No.
Yeah, I was wondering that too, Marissa. Like, how does it know to be recording? So you dial 911. It hasn't even picked up yet, but for some reason just dialing 911 must create a buffer of some sort just in the phone lines where it's storing the audio. I mean, it's pretty weird. I don't know how that happened. Unless she was on hold. You know how when you call 911 now, it doesn't even go to anybody. It says, if this is an emergency, press 1 or something. So maybe it's starting to record at that point. I don't know. It's just...
I mean, he stuck it in his mouth.
All right.
I'm going to rewind it.
Able to talk?
Is he able to talk? No.
He stuck it in his mouth.
He stuck it in his mouth.
All right. Is he still breathing?
Yeah, it looks like it.
second. I'm getting everybody going. How old is he? How old is he? How old is he? Walk Central, Packet 803, Station 2, respond.
Okay, that was it. It was recording again. That person, the person that's on the call, his name is Mark. All right, and let's see. Let me just make sure I get some more information here. And there is I can't remember what the wife's written statement. Hold on. So I'll do this one later. Yeah, so I think her name is Brandy. Okay. So the wife's name is Brandy, and so you just heard the 911 call. He says, "Oh, he had it stuck in his mouth, and I was trying to get the gun from him, and then it went off, and he." Well, see, already right at that point, right there. Well, now it's not really sounding quite as much like a suicide anymore, right? Because you tried to grab the gun, and then it sort of went off. You know, it sort of went off, okay? Well, I mean, already you're way outside of that. Hey, thank you, Veronica Williams. Very kind. Yeah.
Love and appreciate you, Gray. Thank you for all that you do. Face blowing a kiss, beaming face with smiling eyes. You are awesome.
Well, thank you very much. All right, now there's another part of the 911 call. I think he kind of hung up or something, and he called back.
And then still trying to confirm if he's breathing or not. They're trying to get it back in. Wait it now.
They called him back.
Hello.
Mike.
Oh my God.
Mike. Mike, can you hear me?
I'd love to be able to make out what she's saying.
Yes, ma'am.
This is Walker County 911, okay?
911. Yeah.
Okay, Mike, listen to me, okay?
I will, soon as I get.
You know what it seems like? It almost seems like he makes sure nobody can hear what the hell she's saying. He's just, every time she's saying, you know, he's just yapping away over the top of it.
Okay, smart.
Okay, Mike, I need to talk to you. Can you give me your attention?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the gun, where is it located now?
It's in the chair with him.
Okay.
I got the gun up and checked to see what it was. It was a 12 gauge.
Okay, so you moved the gun, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, can you secure that gun? Can you get it unloaded safely and lay it to the side out of the way?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you do that while I'm talking to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll give you just a minute, okay?
Is that the dumbest thing you guys have ever heard in your life, though, right there? So instead of just saying, hey, step back from everything, the police will be there in a minute, she literally gives him permission and an excuse to grab the gun and move it around. And now they'll never know what the hell happened. So listen to this.
Smart.
Okay, Mike, I need to talk to you. Can you give me your attention?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the gun, where is it located now?
It's in the chair with him.
Okay.
I got the gun up and checked to see what it was. It was a 12 gauge.
Okay, so the thing is he already, I picked it up to see what it was. It was a 12. Why would you need to pick it up to see what it is? You just blew his brains out with, you're trying to pull the gun out and it went, pow! And then you thought, wow, I need to know what gauge this is. I mean, who the hell does that, right? So you know, something doesn't seem right there, and obviously he set it in the chair with him, and now, so he's already kind of messed up where it would have naturally been, right?
Okay, so you moved the gun, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, can you secure that gun? Can you get it unloaded safely and lay it to the side out of the way?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you do that while I'm talking to you?
Yeah, so grab it some more. Make sure your prints are all
I'll give
over
you just a minute, okay?
Yeah.
They told me to get the gun.
Yeah, hurry up and grab that gun, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my fingerprints over every single conceivable portion of the gun so that everything, well, and then you'll say, well, how come your fingerprints are all over? Well, the operator told me to go grab it.
No, don't shoot it. Secure it. Unload it. Unload it. Listen, Mike. Are you going to be the one doing it?
It ain't but a single shot. It looks like a shot off.
Okay, so there's nothing in the gun at this point, correct?
No.
The gun is empty, correct?
No. Here's the gun, Brandy.
Mike.
Here they are.
Mike.
Another hang-up. Isn't that great? Because every time she's trying to say something, what's going on? Yeah. Hold on, I'm trying to... Actually, I don't even know. I don't remember what state this was in. That's kind of weird. Just a second. Anybody know, just right offhand in there, what state it was? That's why I didn't even think of looking at that earlier. I was just kind of checking out the entire... I was looking at the videos and the interviews a couple days ago. Somebody, does anybody know? Type it in there what state this is. I'm sure I could find it easily in one of these documents, right? Hold on, I'll just go find it. Probably in the autopsy right there. So it looks like Georgia, right there. State of Georgia, and this Bureau of Investigation. So we have the autopsy and everything. And what we'll do is now we're going to go watch some videos of interviews with, you know, the guy that just was talking on the phone. Now, when you watch the interview, he doesn't seem like he's particularly, you know, he seems somewhat normal. However, what is absolutely clear after you're done listening to him is that it's not a suicide. Okay? So I don't know why it was ruled that way. It's ridiculous. So let's see. I'm going to see if I can... Which story is first? Let's see. June 21st. Okay, here's the June 14th.
First time I went in,
When you took the gun from him,
he was sitting in a chair.
and when you went in, where were you? You standing up? You sitting down?
No, I was standing up. I just walked out of the bedroom.
I want to ask that you do something more, because I am just really confused.
Okay.
Now, I won't make you do this if you don't want to, but it'll help me understand. I got a shotgun in here. Can I go get it, and we'll make sure it's empty, and you show me what we're talking about? Because I'm having a hard time understanding how you're talking about he was holding the gun.
He had the gun.
Wait,
The gun was like this long.
and I've got a short shotgun. Look, can I get it?
Yeah.
Is that all right with you?
Yeah, I mean,
Just for an example.
It's a different kind of gun, I'm sure, but
but as far as hurting him, I would never hurt him. I wouldn't wish death on nobody. Now I ain't make a hear it. I said to myself, I would never touch another one of them.
it's empty.
All right, Marissa. Yeah. There you go.
And it's on safe to boot. Now, you're going to have to walk me through this, because I am just confused.
You're talking about a big chair.
Like,
Big chair. Two people, me and you probably both sit in.
well, show me how he was holding the gun. You direct me how.
Well, when I first seen the gun was down in the chair arm.
Right.
Way down here, you know, it's got a big pillow over it. He come up out of it like this. By the time I seen him, he had the gun like this right here, and he had his thumb just like that.
All right.
And he was trying to put it right here under his chin.
Like this?
Yeah, but the barrel's longer.
The barrel on his is longer?
No, on yours, because his was like at the chair arm right here.
Right.
And I was like, DJ, man. I said, what the fuck, man? And when I got a hold of the gun, I grabbed the gun like this, and I'm pulling, and he's trying to put it back to his face like that, and I'm pulling away. And when I was sitting there, I turned around like this, and I got it away from his face. You know, got the gun away from him, trying to keep the barrel out from his face in case it did go off. Because at the time, I didn't know if the trigger was pulled back, or the hammer. Well, when I yanked the gun like that, the gun, I had the barrel pointing towards the wall. When I yanked it like that, it come loose from his hand.
Okay.
I kept my hand over the trigger.
So pull and like it did.
Yeah.
It came loose?
Like that.
So now?
And I got my hand over this.
Right.
I'm sitting there, and he's pulling the gun, trying to put it back.
Both hands, one hand, two hands?
No, he had both his hands.
Okay, so right now, the victim, DJ, he doesn't have his finger even on the trigger. Okay, so this guy has the sole control of the trigger area of the gun. Okay, and maybe, you know, let's just say, even devil's advocate, that DJ's still holding it, trying to hold it against his face. Well, he doesn't have he has nothing to do with the trigger at this point.
So he's got both hands up here.
And no, one of them was down here trying to move my hand. And I'm like, DJ, please, just give me the goddamn gun, man. I said, you don't want to do nothing like it. And about that time, my arm yanked, and it said, boom.
And where is Brandy in all this shit?
She's the one that yanked my arm. She was at the door with like, you know what?
Where is Brandy in all this shit?
She's the one. And about that time, my arm yanked, and it said, boom.
And where is Brandy in all this shit?
She's the one that yanked my arm. She was at the door.
So what he's saying is that he had got the gun away from him and had his hand on the trigger area, and then Brandy, the wife of DJ, pulls on his arm, and it fires. So let me ask you this: let's just say that's all true. Okay? No, honestly though, let's just say it's true, because it is possible, right? How is that suicide now? He didn't pull any trigger. He didn't do any of that. So the ruling of suicide is 100% bullshit. Okay? So even if he thought, I'm going to do, he didn't do anything. He didn't pull the trigger. If the worst it can be is, or the best it can be is an accident. Okay? There's no way in hell it's a suicide at this point, because this guy right here just said that. It's ridiculous. Okay, so the fact that the medical examiner said, oh, it was a suicide. Really? He didn't pull any damn trigger. He didn't do anything. He might have just been goofing around. Let's say he did have the gun. He was just trying to prove a point. And he's dead because it's something else. Okay? It's 100% not a suicide. God, it's just ridiculous.
Was like, you know what a quarter door is? Open it quarter way.
Hey, thank you, Claudia.
She stepped in, and she's like, Mark, quit, and grabbed my arm, and it said, boom. And I was like, it was like a dream. After that, the shot.
Dream come true? Or?
I don't even think I even heard the shot.
You were having sex with his wife.
I think.
Thank you, Claudia Dubauer. Yeah, I think the reality, all I'm saying is the best it can be is...
Gray Hughes is the best.
It's
true
not a
crime
suicide
channel.
no matter
Smiling
what.
face with
Okay.
heart eyes. Starstruck smiling face with heart eyes.
Thanks, Claudia. Yeah, of course it can be a murder. Yeah, we all know that. What I'm saying is there's no way in hell it's a suicide at this point. That's gone. That's already... Suicide is off the table at this point.
I think all that happened was just it was.
What'd she say?
It was. She said, "Why did you I was like, why what, Brandy? I did not shoot him. I said, and I did not want to.
And it matters a lot, because as soon as the medical examiner puts suicide down, then they don't give a shit. There's no more investigations or anything like that. But if you say undetermined, which you would say, as soon as you realize that this guy's hand was there, and, who knows how the hell that thing got fired, you got to put undetermined down. Now there's a little bit more interest in the case and will be looked at.
Hell, her, but she pulled my arm, that gun went off.
Who else was in the house when all this happened?
Yeah, he got shot in the side of the face. It wasn't in the mouth. Let's see. So now I'm going to play his second interview, which is, that one was the June 4th. And, this is 2012, looks like. And there's a second interview here.
I know for a fact.
Did he ever try to point it at you?
You said
first time I went in.
Wait, hold on a second. June 14th. Apparently this guy has one shirt.
I know for a fact.
Did he ever try to point it at you? Point the gun at you when y'all were
no.
Is that really? Is this really? June 21st it says on the file.
Did he ever try to point it at you? Point the gun at you when y'all were
no, he was too busy trying to get the other chin. He was sitting there pulling it up like he was trying to put it in his mouth. And I kept telling him, DJ, you got 3 kids, man. God damn, why you want to do this?
Did he ever get the gun in his mouth? Was
no,
the gun ever inside of his mouth?
No, it never went in his mouth. I said, up there.
Yeah, that's a good point there, Sarah Beth. See, we got smart people in here.
Here, up to here, and I snatched him something back. I was like, DJ, man. And I got a huge shoulder and this rotator cuff. You can go have me surgically checked. His warts slap out from working. Mm-hmm. And when I snatched that gun out under his chin, I wish to God.
Yeah, so listen, what we're doing here is trying to figure this sucker out and come up with cool ideas. And other channels are talking about, the drama.
If I knowed it was loaded, I could have just boom, shot it through the roof. You know what I'm saying?
Did you ever think about, even if it wasn't loaded, just
I wouldn't even
check?
How was I going to do that? Hell, I'm sitting here fighting with it, And they just a pretty good sized boy, and he's stronger than what anybody thinks he is. Mm-hmm. I mean, because I'm strong, but I'm 42 years old, and I got out in the yard with a 27-year-old that tacked my ass. You know what I'm saying? I got the utmost respect for him because he wanted to fight for what was his.
All right. And there's a couple more. Let's see what this one is. Hold on a second.
Derek.
Hey, this is Detective Ellenberg returning your call.
Hey, hold on a second. Let me take off the speaker.
So this is a detective. I haven't listened to these 3 audio files. They're in the same folder, though. It's called Interview. So let's see what this one says.
Derek.
Hey, this is Detective Ellenberg returning your call.
Hey, hold on a second. Let me take off the speaker. Hold on for a minute. Dang it. So you can hear back. Is that better?
Yeah, I can hear you.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Hey, I just want to let you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a good point, Sarah Beth. Yeah. Hey, quit pulling his arm. I want him to kill himself.
I'm investigating the death of Donald Ficker, DJ.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I have your investigation report.
Okay.
And based on your interviews and based on the autopsy report that I have, and the crime scene photos, I took it upon and I went down and did an interview with an inmate at the Hamilton County Jail yesterday.
Okay.
And 100%, I do not believe this was a suicide.
Okay.
And
Wait, hold on a second. Who's
looking at that?
Derek. Hey, this is Detective Ellenberg returning your call.
Hey, hold on, Terry. Let me take off the speaker. Hold on for a minute.
Okay, so who's he talking to, though? Who is this guy? Is this the PI?
So you can hear. Right. Is that better? Yeah, I can hear you.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Hey, I just want to let you know I'm investigating the death of Donald Ficker, DJ.
Yes, sir.
I think this is the PI.
And I have your investigation report.
Okay.
And based on your interviews and based on
Thank you, Sean Beecham. Hey, by the way, some of the emojis that I'll be putting out are going to be pretty cool. It's things for that'll be on the membership that we're going to be putting together. But there'll be some emojis that you can put out that are special to this channel, and the more people we get, the more emojis that we can make. It's actually kind of cool how they have that set up. Cairo told, I knew that I had this option, but he's suggested, hey, you should look into this because it's kind of fun actually. So we'll see how that goes. But I think right now in this interview here that it's the private eye, and I think his name is. They don't. Well, actually, there's no name on this one. Let me go back out to a different folder. I know that it's in here though. Now, his name is Eric Eccles. Okay, that's the PI. Let me just see if this is him.
My name is Eric Eccles, and I'm a private investigator.
I don't know. He sounds different than that voice. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. So let's get back to this.
autopsy report that I have.
Yeah, maybe.
And the crime scene photos.
That could be. Yeah.
I took it upon and I went down and did an interview with an inmate at the Hamilton County Jail yesterday.
Okay.
And 100%, I do not believe this was a suicide.
Okay.
And
detective's like, yeah, I don't care.
Looking at that, and looking at the letter that Buzz Franklin sent to you, I'm trying to see what can be done to move this from a suicide to a homicide so it can get the proper justice. And the reason why I was calling you is because looking at your report, I think that you believe that is not a suicide as well.
Well, there's the person that ruled it a suicide is the medical examiner's office.
Mm-hmm.
So, the sheriff's office didn't rule that. We can't really.
Yeah, and you know what sucks about it too is when you rule it a suicide, it removes any insurance payouts. Okay, and so I don't know. Was there something else going on? Because why would the medical examiner care? It's so freaking obvious. This isn't a suicide. There is no chance in hell this is a suicide. Every single thing about it says it's not a suicide.
I don't know of any way to change the ruling.
Well, I got a meeting. The ME just called me. I got to call them back. I got a meeting with them.
Yeah,
and
probably have to talk with them and see.
Well, how'd that go?
But based on your investigation, and the interviews that you've done.
Actually, that's next. I see an interview.
Shouldn't this at least went to the grand jury for an indictment for
The next interview that I see in this list is Emmy explaining meth and being a suicide, something like that.
Manslaughter?
Who cares?
That's
if it's meth or whatever.
I know, I know. I don't mean to put you in a precarious situation, but I've seen your report, so I know what you wrote, and I know what the witnesses are saying. And it seems to me there's enough evidence to secure an indictment. I just don't understand why that letter was sent, and maybe you can help me out with that.
I actually cannot.
Okay.
I can't speak for the district attorney. I don't know.
But you're doing the investigation. No, I know he's going to be next on my list, and we got history, so I know he knows who I am.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh yeah, I was the investigator on the Tanya Craft case.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got history. Not good history, but we got history. But
some there anyway.
But there is some there. But I just wanted to let you know that I support your findings, and that I by reading your report, I know that you believe that it's not a suicide, because you would have never sent it to the DA for indictment. My thing is now is if called upon, would you support that? In other words, if the DA comes back to you or something like that and say, do you think you have enough evidence to support
the grand jury,
a homicide,
or the DA? I mean,
is that something that you would say yes to?
Homicide, no. Manslaughter.
Homicide, manslaughter. I'm not talking murder. I mean, homicide.
Okay.
Yeah, homicide is the death. But I don't think it was murder. I mean, I can't prove. I don't know if there was intent there. But the fact that he went and got the shotgun and held it to his head, I mean, hell, that's assault with a deadly weapon. I mean, there should have.
Wait, I thought where'd that come from? 'Cause in that, maybe he's got some different information, because the guy that's in the being interrogated, Mark, his name, he actually says that DJ had the shotgun, and it was next to him, and then he put it next to his head. So we'll have to see how that went. See, I actually believe what this guy is saying right here. That makes more sense, and that would explain, as Sarah Beth was saying, about why the wife would have pulled his arm.
Been some charges, and would you? And my question is, as the detective on the case, would you hold to that?
Yes, that's why I sent it over to the district attorney's office, for that. But yes,
well, that's why I wanted to talk to you, man.
So look at that, even the detective.
So just so you know, I'm gonna be, and you're in Walker County, so you're not in Catoosa County. So I'm sure you're familiar with the Tanya Craft case.
I've heard of it. I haven't read up on.
Okay, well, you'll see my name pops up a lot on that, and I just wanted to commend you, because I support your investigation and your findings, and my only role is to get justice. And when I say get justice, I think if someone shoots somebody in the face, accidental or not, you shouldn't have got the shotgun and put it to his head. So that's something that a jury should decide, not a DA saying there's not enough evidence when I believe that there is. So just so you know, I'm gonna meet with the DA. I mean, not the DA. I'm gonna meet with the ME, and I'm gonna let them know what I found, because even, well, I don't have. I mean, because you knew DJ was right-handed too, right?
For a recording done, I mean, that's a very high quality audio there, don't you think?
Yes, I was told that.
Yeah. So even the placement where he shot, if he was committing suicide, he wouldn't have shot on the left side of his face. But anyway, but I just wanted to give you a heads up as a detective, and I left a message with your captain. You called me first, so you can let your captain know, because I was going to talk to him and let him know the same thing, and just let him know, so he don't have to call me back. And then I'll keep you in touch on what the ME says.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, detective.
Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so then after that, he talked to the ME, and that's this conversation.
Hi, Mr. Eccles. My name is Dr. Brandy.
So that
How
is
are
Eccles.
you?
Hey, how you doing, Dr. Brandy?
Doing well. I'm glad you remember me.
Oh, yes.
God damn, this is great audio.
I just wanted to let you know we got the toxicology report back on Mr.
Gosh
Ficky,
darn. Mm-hmm.
And it showed...
Let me start over. I don't want to talk over this.
Hi, Mr. Eccles. My name is Dr. Brandy. How are you?
Hey, how you doing, Dr. Brandy?
Doing well. I'm glad you remember me.
Oh, yes.
So I just wanted to let you know we got the toxicology report back on Mr. Ficky, and it showed stimulants that were present and not any depressants in his drug, in his blood. And
why would she be like, "Hey, I'm glad you remember me"? I mean, that's just
on that, I am going to stick with the cause and manner of death that are listed in the autopsy report. And if you need a copy of the toxicology report, you can request that via Open Records, which I believe you've been in touch with to get copies of the autopsy report and other items as well.
So to make sure I understand, the toxicology report came back and the drugs that were found doesn't indicate that it was a homicide. You're sticking with suicide?
It shows a stimulant that's present, and based on that information, there's not anything that would appear to have rendered him unable to defend himself.
You mean because he was shot in the face. This lady sounds like an idiot. Hold on, let me go back here.
Stimulant that's present, and based on that information, there's not anything that would appear to have rendered him unable to defend himself, and it appears that it is most consistent with a suicide.
Oh, you're an idiot. God, what an embarrassment.
Even after all the other evidence.
Yes.
What do you
mean, yes? Keep talking. Yeah, I feel like this guy. I want to laugh at her.
I mean, was there a firearm residue test done on Mr. Ficky before he was cremated?
Let me.
Because I didn't see that in your report.
It is.
I think you could have pressed her a little bit longer.
Unless it is requested. Let me.
Hey, let me ask you something, ma'am. He didn't even have his hand on the trigger, and it was pulled by somebody else. How can that be a suicide at that point? Well, he had She sounds like a robot that it would just go back to the. Well, he had stimulants, and therefore it's a suicide. I know, but he didn't actually pull the trigger himself. Somebody else pulled the trigger, and in fact, it was described as somebody pulling that person's arm, and the gun went off accidentally. So how is that a suicide, ma'am? Well, see, he had stimulants, and see, she sounds exactly like the idiots that I talked to in the Delphi case. You know, when you try to explain to them something with a rational explanation over and over again, and they keep coming back with the same thing because their brains cannot change what they already think. This is ludicrous what I'm hearing right here.
Through the evidence and see if I don't recall doing one. Let's see.
He's a medical examiner.
Evidence for firearms. Let me see what that has. I believe that's just projectiles. Just 1 minute, please. My system goes a little slow, so I'm trying to open it. Evidence for firearms. Yes, those are just the projectiles. So, no, I did not do a firearm gunshot residue collection. It was not requested at the time, and that is not routinely performed.
Okay, but isn't it normally performed?
We really don't know that he had the shotgun in his hand and fired it if there was no residue. Test it.
Well,
but you know he didn't.
That gets into the validity of gunshot residue, which I believe you should probably speak to a firearms expert on.
See, here's the thing: is he was shot in the head with a shotgun, and we know for sure that it's much worse than. We know for sure that he didn't shoot himself, and the reason we know that is if he did, that Mark guy would have easily just said, yeah, you know, I went up and I tried to get the gun, but he pulled the trigger and shot himself. He would have said that. And there's no way that Mark's going to make it, he's going to make it look as good as he can for himself. So there's no way in hell he shot himself. And she should know that. And everybody knows that except this medical examiner for some reason. She was sort of left in the dark. I mean, what a joke. I bet you no matter what you tell her, she'd stick to it. Or she'd need somebody higher up to tell her, I think you need to change this. Because she's not one of those people, she seems like a robot. Like some of these experts that you see at trial that they just go down and they just say the same thing over and over again. And then when you question them on something technical, they don't really know the answer because they didn't really practice that part.
Which I am.
Let me rewind that. I don't know what he's saying.
Okay.
The validity of gunshot residue, which I believe you should probably speak to a firearms expert on.
Fucking.
Which I am.
I'm so pissed off right now. No wonder.
Okay. All right.
Amanda's running around trying to get something done here.
All right. So in order to get the toxicology report, to just do another open records? Or is
Yes,
it,
you can do another open records request, and then you should be able to get a copy of the toxicology report that way.
It's not nothing, since you know who I am and I've already done an open records for all of the records for the case. Can it just be sent to me?
I don't believe it can, because this was done after you had requested the records at that time.
But I think an open records is standing, isn't it?
Honestly, I'm not aware, because all of these requests get directed to the open records, that I never actually give records to people, so I'm not sure what that
I bet right about now he's wished that he didn't remember who she was.
procedure is and what I'd be allowed to give you. So you could contact them and see if that's still a standing thing, and they would be able to send it over to you.
Okay, so it was a stimulant. What drug was found in there? What was the stimulant?
He had methamphetamine.
So he had meth.
Therefore, it's a suicide, right?
And that stimulant having meth in the system, I'm just trying to make sure I understand, would not have prevented him from defending himself.
It's a stimulant, so it would make he would be active.
He would be active.
Yes.
Okay, so what?
Okay, so, and I'm just asking questions here. So if someone holds a shotgun to your head, he has a stimulant, and he grabs the barrel, wouldn't that be active?
Remember, in this case, it's an intraoral, so the barrel was inside of the mouth with the mouth closed.
Okay.
I'm not sure that's accurate, right?
So he couldn't have been, and I'm just asking, he couldn't have been asleep or anything, and the guy put the gun in his mouth.
Well, and that's why we were checking to see if depressants were present in his system, and they were not.
What does that got to do with anything?
Okay. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was clear on what your findings were. All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, ma'am.
Bye.
But, ma'am, he didn't actually pull the trigger.
Hi, Mr.
He didn't actually pull the trigger, so how come that's suicide? Well, it was just... Well, I don't really have an answer for that, but... Okay, so this is a interview with... There's two different interviews coming up with a witness that was actually there at the time. Another guy that was there. He's in prison at the time of these interviews. This is one of them here. God, I'm just... Now you understand. I hope all of you guys now, if you ever hear from Amanda again, you just totally give her as much support as possible, because this is a joke. Just a little we've seen, right? All right, so this file here is a different format, so I'm gonna have to open it up with something like, I'll try VLC Player. Here we go. VLC Player is a good one, though, you guys. It opens up everything.
Hey, man, how you doing?
All right, how you doing?
Good, good. Can you hear me good?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're David Callborn, you go by Fat Boy, right? Correct? Yeah. Okay, so like I said before, I'm investigating it on behalf of the family. And I know you were there. I read all of the reports. So just kind of walk me through what happened that day.
I done told, Cotusa County and Amanda, that I told them everything, that went down that day. And
can you just kind of tell me, please?
DJ accidentally got shot. I mean, it's that simple.
Okay, so let me ask you, because I got a list of questions, so I'm just trying to find out. Okay, so when you say he accidentally got shot, where did the gun come from?
I done told investigators all about that.
Right, well, tell them.
I know, but they still, I don't know what's happened with that, so I'm trying to do my own independent investigation to help the family. So if you can tell me, man, I'd appreciate it.
They know Mark brought the gun up there.
So Mark brought the gun.
They know that.
Okay, so
there you go. Mark brought it.
Well,
are you sure that you have Cotusa's?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it should plainly say in there who brought the gun up.
Yeah, I got all of this, and the reason why they hired me.
Hey, Amanda, why don't you put the link in the description here? So now it sounds like Mark. See, what's weird about it, in interrogation, Mark says that the gun was just sitting next to DJ, right? So that's a lie then. At that point, it's a lie. It was not. And this witness here has no reason to make something up. He was there. He saw it. Mark does have a reason to make something up.
It's because Katusa is still saying.
But yeah, get the link and put it in the chat here, Amanda, and then people will go sign it.
It's a suicide. And reading the report.
I mean that if they wrote an accidental shooting.
No, it's still a suicide.
Yeah.
See, and that's
so like I'm saying is, it's possible it was an accidental shooting, but here's what we know for sure is that it was not a suicide, and it should be marked as undetermined on the autopsy, or something, or a homicide, right? Because if he didn't kill himself, and so either way, even if it's let's say it's true that Brandy, there's a note that we'll read here in a minute though by Brandy, but let's say it's even true that she pulled on his arm and it fired and it killed DJ. We know for sure it's not a suicide. He didn't pull the trigger to kill himself. So the thing is undetermined is what it should be for sure at the minimum on that autopsy. And that medical examiner, man, if I was anywhere near there, I'd just get rid of her in 2 seconds. She is an embarrassment. Okay, literally that was a joke what she was saying there.
And that's why I got involved, and that's why the family came and hired me, because I'm trying to say it's not a suicide based on everything that I read in the police reports. So the only person I can talk to by reading your statements, I said, well, let me come talk to you because you seem like the one who's being the most honest about everything.
They know. I mean, they come up here and talked to me last year.
Mm-hmm.
Or not last year, but at the beginning, at the beginning of this year, and I told them, that Mark is the one who brought the gun up there, and that the gun was in Mark's hand when it went off.
So Mark brought the gun. Did he point the gun at DJ?
I didn't physically see him point the gun at him. When I come into the room, it was right as the shot went off, and yeah, Mark had the gun in his hand.
And Mark had the gun in his hand?
Yeah.
Okay. But
DJ also had a hand on the gun.
But DJ had a hand on the gun. Okay. And I guess what I'm missing is, who brought the gun into the picture? Did DJ have the gun sitting next to him and Mark grabbed it?
Mark did. And I told Catoosa County that.
So Mark brought the gun into the room?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So then you go back to this.
You said
First time I went in,
when you took the gun from him,
he was sitting in a chair.
And when you went in, where were you? You standing up? You sitting down?
No, I was standing up. I just walked out of the bedroom.
I want to ask that you do something more, because I am just really confused.
Okay.
Now, I won't make you do this if you don't want to, but it'll help me understand. I got a shotgun in here. Can I go get it, and we'll make sure it's empty, and you show me what we're talking about? Because I'm having a hard time understanding how you're talking about he was holding the gun.
He had the gun.
Wait,
the gun was like this long.
And I've got a short shotgun. Can I get it?
Yeah.
Is that all right with you?
See, the thing is, that whole part about how long the gun is, that's just sort of this distraction technique thing. Like, oh, wow, let's talk about the gun. It's so interesting, the gun. It was this long, and it had these...
Just for an example.
It's a different kind of gun, I'm sure, but...
But as far as hurting him, I would never hurt him. I wouldn't wish death on nobody. Now, I ain't make to hear it. I said to myself, I would never touch another one of them.
It's empty. And it's on safe to boot. Now, you're going to walk me through this because I am just confused. Let's let me...
Chair. A big chair. 2 people, me and you probably both sit in.
Wow, let's talk about how big that chair is, man. Oh, it's so interesting. Now it's this really big chair that, wow, as a matter of fact, I've never seen a chair this big. Do you understand what I'm saying? Man, it's the biggest chair in the world.
Show me how he was holding the gun. You direct.
Yeah, not interested. Let's talk about the gun.
Me how.
Well, when I first seen the gun was down in the chair arm. Right. Way down in, it's got a big pillow over it. He come up out of it like this. By the time I seen him,
Yeah, but the thing is, Amanda, the medical examiner's answers to the private investigator's questions were ludicrous. So I don't even care if she didn't hear from, she got the information from the coroner and all that crap. Okay? The way she treated your brother's case is a joke. Embarrassing, really. Honestly.
He had the gun like this right here, and he had his thumb just like that.
All right.
And he was trying to put it right here under his chin.
Like this?
Yeah, but the barrel's longer.
The barrel on his is
Okay, let me go to this one.
I know for a fact.
Did he ever try to point it at you? Point the gun at you when y'all were...
No, he was too busy trying to get it under his chin. He was sitting there pulling it up like he was trying to put it in his mouth. And I kept telling DJ, you got 3 kids, man. God damn.
Oh, yeah,
man,
I'm sure that's what
Did
she
he
was
ever get the
saying.
gun in his mouth? Was
No,
the gun
I
ever
never
inside of
tried
his mouth?
No, it never went in his mouth.
Right, so how come the medical examiner thought it was in his mouth and he had his mouth closed on it?
Up to here, up to here.
He didn't even
and
look at
I
anything.
snatched it back. I was like, DJ, man. And
Well, I agree with you there,
something.
Amanda. That's what I said
It's
earlier.
okay,
I don't know when you
having
came
surgery
on.
check. His warts slap out from working. And when I snatched that gun out under his chin, I wish to God, if I know it was loaded, I could have just boom, shot it through the roof. You know what I'm saying?
Did you ever think about even...
Anyway, yeah, so, I mean, I don't remember where it was, but I know that he said that the gun was just sitting next to him, and then he grabbed it. Well, no, you brought it into the room, okay?
Okay, and then the gun went off accidentally.
Yeah, there was kind of, I don't know what he called it, like a struggle or whatever, and the gun went off.
Okay.
I don't think Mark meant to shoot DJ. It just happened that the gun was pointed directly at him, which he did point the gun at him.
Hey, Amanda, I don't know if you've been, how long have you watched from the beginning tonight? Because Sarah Beth had a good point earlier. She said that, well, why would Brandy grab Mark's arm? Right? Like, why would she grab, why would he grab Mark's arm? Isn't that crazy? Because it's like, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Maybe Sarah Beth can explain it to you again, but I'm gonna go keep playing this. The reason she would grab Mark's arm is because she thought Mark was trying to shoot DJ. You see? That's why she grabbed it. And that's what Sarah Beth was saying. Because if DJ was you would have let me try to rephrase this. She would have, she would have now I'm trying to think of how to word this because it's difficult for me to actually, let's see. Right, so if she thought that DJ was trying to kill himself, she would have wanted Mark to keep pulling the gun from him. Okay? But that's not what her perception was. Her perception was that Mark was trying to shoot DJ and was trying to pull the gun back and then boom. Okay? That would be the scenario there. Yeah, well, I'm just saying if that is true. I mean, so that, think about it like that. Let's just pretend that that's true for a minute. Why would she be doing that? See, that's what you got to do, Amanda. You got to have all the things like that because then it explains a story. Because you could tell the detectives, well, see, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all what Mark is saying because why would Brandy pull his arm back? Why would he try to stop him from keeping DJ from killing himself? Okay, so that's not what happened. If it's true that she grabbed his arm, it would be to keep him from shooting DJ, right? So yeah, if she's lying, yeah, that's what I'm saying. He could be lying. Okay, it's definitely possible, But what you got to do is have an explanation of why that doesn't make sense either. Okay, so you've got to, you can't just say, oh, she's lying, and have something that she wrote say that she's lying. You have to explain why it doesn't make any sense. And I think what Sarah Beth said, yeah, that's exactly right. You poke holes in the story. So you got to have that. Why would she grab his arm when he was trying to stop DJ from killing himself?
Point the gun at DJ.
Yes, but
okay.
I don't think he meant to shoot him. I really don't.
So you think he meant to scare him?
Yeah, it was an intimidation.
Okay.
You know, trying to get him to shut up because him and Brandy wouldn't stop arguing.
Okay.
I'm not saying that DJ deserved to die because he really did.
Wow, see?
Right.
Intimidation.
But it was, Mark didn't mean to shoot him.
Okay. And that's accidental. I get that. But that's the difference between a suicide.
Right, it's huge.
See, the last time I talked to Georgia's investigators, they said that they was rolling into accident.
See, the thing is, this is definitely not a suicide. I mean, I've known this for in the first 5 minutes that I looked at this case about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. I was like, wow, how is this ruled a suicide? It's not even close. So it's insane.
A homicide.
An accidental homicide.
That's what he told me, that it was an accidental shooting, that they truly believe it was an accident, and it really was.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm going to be playing all that, Amanda.
Make sure I'm clear. Brandy was his wife.
Yes.
Yeah, Amanda, I'm going to be reading all this stuff, so I mean, I know that you want to put it all out there really quick because we're in this argument here, but what we're trying to tell you is that you need to have all the reasons why it doesn't make sense to keep poking holes in no matter what he's saying, it doesn't make sense. Okay, that's what we're doing here. So we're going to play all that stuff, every single file that you sent me. I'm going to be playing on the air here. You know, this is just part 1 tonight.
But also, Mark used to mess around with her.
Yes.
Okay, so
now Mark and Brandy had stopped that.
They had stopped that.
That was the agreement, that they wasn't messing around anymore, you know, and DJ was actually staying there with Mark and Brandy.
Right.
You know, and I say Mark and Brandy because it was Mark and Brandy more than it was Brandy and DJ when I was around, you know what I mean?
Right.
But like, they was staying with Mark in his camper.
Okay.
And Brandy and DJ was together, so that's not the issue of why DJ got shot.
Okay.
It's because DJ and Brandy had been arguing for days, and everybody was tired of hearing it, and Mark told him, you know, shut up, stop arguing, I'm tired of hearing it, and I don't know why he thinks and trying to intimidate somebody with a gun, because that's not what they're for, but...
Okay, so let me ask you this. After the gun went off, I read in the report that there was a story concocted to say that was suicide.
It wasn't necessarily a story concocted, it's just... That's what was told, was that, you know, DJ tried to shoot himself and Mark tried to stop him.
So that's what Mark said?
Well, yeah, and I just kind of went along with it because, honestly, I was kind of feared for my life.
Right, you were fearing for your life, okay.
Why?
Now, I saw the shot.
No, but why were you fearing for your life? Okay, so that's kind of a weird statement that he made. If it was really just not done intentionally, see, it seems like he's trying to help out Mark here, and he does it even in another interview, I think even with Amanda, because I think Amanda interviews the same guy, and we're going to play that one too. But it seems like he's covering up, because why would he be fearing for his life? Oh, it was an accidental shooting, right? I mean, he didn't mean to shoot him. You see what I'm saying? So that doesn't even make sense there. He says, oh, it's an accidental shooting, but now I'm in fear for my life.
And it was a single shot. I mean, it wasn't like a pump. It didn't have 6 to 8 rounds in there.
No.
Okay. So you had to shoot, reload.
I'm not sure. I never touched the gun. I don't know if it was a single shot breakdown or if it was a double barrel.
Okay.
Well, I know it wasn't a double barrel.
No, it wasn't double barrel.
But I don't know how many shots it holds.
So after
Good night, Danielle.
And this is something else I'm kind of fuzzy on. After the shooting, what happened to the gun? Was there any wipe down? Was there any cleaning the gun?
Yeah, I said that earlier, Gene Fish. I said that who knows what's going on here, but a suicide cancels any life insurance if there was any. And if it's, you know, any other determination, it's still good.
And anything like that happen?
No. Not that I'm aware of. It was just thrown on DJ's lap.
Okay. It was just so the gun after the shot, Mark put the gun on DJ's lap.
Yep, and then he went and washed his hands and.
Yeah, I totally agree, Amanda. Watching your interview, which we'll play right after this one, it did feel like he kind of wanted to, and then he went back to his. I don't think he meant to though. You know, he's in prison. He doesn't really want to be a snitch, but you know.
Call 911.
Did he call anybody before he called 911?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay. Did he change his clothes or anything?
I think he did change his shirt.
He changed his shirt?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. You know why he changed his shirt?
I think because it had blood and shit on it.
Okay. All right. So he changed the shirt because he had the blood.
It might have. I'm not saying that.
Well, it might have, but you saw him change the shirt.
I'm not even 100 on that, but I think he didn't change his shirt. I think he took his shirt off.
Okay. He took his shirt off.
I believe. I'm not 100% on that, but I think or maybe he put a shirt on after that.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. I'm not 100%. I don't want to, say yes or no on it because I really don't know.
Okay. In your opinion, and what you saw when you were there, you can 100% say it wasn't a suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely not suicide.
Definitely not suicide. Okay. All right.
Why isn't all this good enough?
It was an accidental shooting.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you set to go to trial on the 14th?
The 15th.
The 15th? And you think you're going to bond out? And
well, my lawyer is pushing for a drug program.
Okay.
Which, I've been sober since April. So the drug program is just bettering myself to get out there and maybe, get a head start on, finding jobs and stuff like that.
Okay. Hey, let me ask you this. Was it drugs being used that day between anybody?
Oh, yeah. We was all high. We was all getting high.
So before the shooting, everybody was getting high?
Yeah. We all got high there every day.
Okay.
So
that's what I'm saying. So right before the shooting, you still were getting high?
Well, I don't know if it was right before the shooting, but yeah, we had all been getting high, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Hey, Amanda, when were these interviews that you, what year was this interview and then the one that you did?
Okay. All right. That's what I needed to know. I don't know why they told you it was, because they still have it down as a suicide. And that's what I'm trying to figure out.
No,
and it wasn't.
They come and talked to me and got my last statement, and then one of the investigators called my sister, and I told them that they had just ruled it an accidental homicide.
Okay.
That no charges was being filed or anything.
Okay. All right, man.
So is the case closed or is it still open? Or?
Well, they closed it, but like I said, the family is not settling that it's because they told them it's still a suicide. And that's why I got involved.
Not enough of anything to say it's not a suicide.
Right. Yeah. But reading everything here and talking to you, I know DJ didn't go get the gun and put it to his face and shoot himself. No. Because it was on the right side of his, on the left side.
Yeah, I totally, I'm on the same page with this private investigator here. I see where, he keeps trying to push. It's so obvious. It's so obvious that it wasn't a suicide that it's embarrassing that none of them have changed that.
On his face, DJ's right hand. So if anything, he would have did like this or did like that. Okay. All right, man. Well, I appreciate your time. All right, man. Stay solid. Okay, appreciate you.
Hey, has anybody talked to Mark?
I don't. The police have.
Because the last I heard, he just took off.
That's what I heard he took off too, so I don't know where he is, where I can find him, but I know the police have talked to him, and he's changed his story like 3 or 4 different times.
And what about Brandy?
She's in jail right now, and I'm trying to get to her next.
All right, well, when you talk to her, will you tell her I love her and I miss her?
I will, man. All right, thanks.
And tell Amanda, I'm sorry I can't be of more help.
Okay.
I love her too.
All right, I'll tell her.
Did you interview her, did you interview This guy before your private investigator, Amanda? All right. I'm going to go over this note here. This is the note that Brandy wrote. It's a little bit hard to, well, it's not that bad, I guess. So it says, I, Brandy Leanne Fickey, and then Heath, I guess maybe that was her original or maiden name, on Wednesday, January 31st, 2018, was spoken to by Eric Eccles, that's the private investigator, who identified himself to me as a private investigator. This interview took place at the Cobb County Jail in Fort Payne, Alabama. So this must be when he went and interviewed her next. This statement is true, and no threats or promises have been made to me. And you got to look at it like this, too. Now she's sober and in jail. She's not on, there's no meth in her system, there's no drugs, so she's able to think clearly, and this is all totally legitimate. On October 3rd, 2016, I was at Charlie Womble's trailer. So this happened in 2016. So that date that was on the on those interviews is probably not right, is it? This is 2016, right, Amanda? October 3rd, because the date on those interviews with Mark say June 14th. Let's see. I don't know. I thought it said, maybe that's talking about the time though. So maybe that's just saying June 14th at 2:31. I thought it was actually saying that was 2012, but obviously that's not saying that. So it's 2016, yeah, October 2000. Okay, on October 3rd, 2016, I was at Charlie Womble's trailer when Marshall Payne shot my husband. See that? So that's Brandy, the one that he claimed grabbed his arm. So now she's saying, I was at Charlie Womble's trailer when Marshall Payne shot my husband. I was a witness, and this is what I saw. Me and DJ stay over with Miss Marshall. We woke up at Marshall, and Marshall offered us meth. We declined. We left him at his camper and went to the trailer to get something to drink and use the restroom. I fixed DJ a drink and went to the bathroom. DJ came, checked on me. We had a short, let me get back to the file here. Sorry for how quiet it gets. We had a short, I don't know, man, let me make sure, let me get back to the other one. Am I missing something? Oh, I think maybe I just needed to scroll down. Let me zoom in again. Okay, so I just needed to scroll down. It froze on me before. I was a witness, and let me see, where were we at? We left him at his camp. We wake up, and Marshall offered him meth. We declined. We left him at his camper and went to the trailer to get something to drink and use the restroom. I fixed DJ a drink and went to the bathroom. DJ came and checked on me. We had a short conversation about his mom and AL. He went back to the living room. I finished my hair and went to go to the living room and joined DJ. As I made my way, Fat Boy, that's the guy that was just in the interview, Scott Colburn, shortly led behind me when I got to the living room area. And then here's the other part. By the time my eyes met DJ, Marshall Payne came out of the bedroom that was behind DJ angrily. So this is Mark. Marshall Payne came out of the bedroom that was behind DJ angrily and violently from DJ's left side holding a gun at a downward angle, yelling at DJ, "You goddamn mother effer," then shot him. After Marshall Payne shot him, and see, this actually fits more into what Coburn was saying, and now you can see why perhaps Coburn is nervous and why he asked the private investigator, "Hey, do you know where he might be?" Because he's a little bit nervous when he gets out of jail. Okay, but if this was all a big accident, he wouldn't be nervous whatsoever, would he? Okay, you goddamn mother effer. Then shot him after Marshall Payne shot him. DJ and I ran out. DJ. I ran out of the house scared for my life, screaming for help, hoping someone heard me. I went back in to see if DJ could have been alive. I tried to grab his hand, hoping he was still alive. If called to testify, I will say the same. Brandy. Sounds like they've got a case just right here, right? And then I think if he was behind bars, if they had, let's say they put out a warrant on Mark, put him behind bars, and he had a massive bail, and he couldn't get out, I think you might see Coburn be able to say more clearly what he wants to say. Okay? Unless he really believes that it was an accident. I don't think he does, because why would he be fearing for his life at that point? Right. Okay, so, isn't this just driving you guys nuts? See, at what point did this ever look like a suicide? All right. And here is the interview with Amanda and David Coburn, the same person that the PI interviewed on audio. So this is her in jail actually speaking. This is Amanda right here, obviously, and that is Coburn. And look at that. I mean, it's just absolute jail there.
Hello?
Hey, David.
Hey.
This is DJ's sister, Amanda.
Oh, okay. I had never seen you before I met you.
Right. I've been talking to your sister, and she told me to come see.
Yeah, but the problem is Mark never called it a suicide. Because he said he had his hand on the trigger, and his arm was pulled, and then it discharged into his face. Okay? It's ridiculous. I mean, even what Mark said in that interrogation isn't a suicide.
See you. So.
Yeah.
I know this is kind of awkward and everything.
Yeah.
But we need some closure. You know?
I understand.
And sorry, I said I wasn't gonna do this.
No, that's okay.
It wasn't right what happened to my brother.
Yeah, I know.
DJ was a good man, and he was loved so much. And you don't know how hard it is hearing his babies ask for their daddy every day. And I just want to ask you some details. I mean, we know what happened. I have the investigation report and everything. There's some little details that I wanted to ask you.
Were you before? You were before the PI, right, Amanda? Like, this is the interview before the PI contacted him. Is that right? I think I'm thinking of it like that. I just want to make sure. And then I'll get back to this. Okay. Because he seemed like he was more forthright. He had more to say to you than the private maybe you should be a private investigator, Amanda.
And see if you would cooperate with me. Because this is not going to be over until somebody's in jail.
Right.
If this was your sister, you would feel the same way.
Right.
The first thing I wanted to ask is, why did Brandy change her clothes before everybody got there, the investigators and everybody?
I don't know, because I actually left.
Right, you left and came back.
And then turned around and came back because I felt, it wasn't right to just take off and leave like that.
Right. Did she change her clothes before you got back? Do you know?
I'm not 100% sure.
Sorry to hear that, Amanda.
I know Mark changed, but he changed like right away.
Right. Why did Mark wash Brandy?
I don't know.
Do you know why Mark washed Brandy's hands down with hand sanitizer?
Because she grabbed the gun.
After it went off?
Yeah, but why would that matter?
Yeah, well,
okay.
As it was going off.
As it was going off? Who wiped down the gun, you or Mark?
Mark.
Mark wiped it down?
Yeah.
Did he wipe it down with bleach or hand sanitizer?
I don't think he wiped it down with any kind of chemical.
Okay. Was Mark's finger on the trigger when the gun went off?
Yes.
It was. Did DJ ever touch the gun? And be honest with me, please.
Yes, he had his hand up on it. His left hand.
Was he trying to knock it out of Mark's hand?
I don't know if
was he trying to block it?
It was.
See, in my opinion, I actually think this guy saw a lot more than he says. He makes it sound like he just sort of walked in and boom. But then how does he know right there that he had his left hand on it and his finger on the trigger? You'd have to be in the room for a little bit to notice that much detail, that his finger was on the trigger and that DJ's left hand was on it. You'd have to be in there for a while. But then at some points, this guy here, Coburn, says, "Oh, I just walked in and boom." Well, no, you were there a little longer than that.
It was so instantaneous when it went off compared to when I come through the door. It was like as soon as I come through is when the gun went off. But I couldn't see why he would be trying to make him put it up there. You know what I mean?
Right. Because from what we've been told, DJ threw his arm up like he was trying to block the gun. Maybe trying to push it out of his face.
DJ actually, he had his hand around the end of the barrel.
But Mark, I've got the investigation report and I've seen where you told him the majority of the truth on Valentine's Day, where you knew for a fact Mark did come out of that room with the gun and it cocked.
Yeah.
So, and we know Mark shot DJ. And the thing about it is it's not up to the investigators or lawyers or DA or anybody else to determine whether he did it or not, because we all know he did it. What we need is the grand jury to decide whether it was intentional or accidental. And either way, I don't know if you know the state laws in Georgia, but regardless if it was murder or involuntary manslaughter, it's still the same sentence, same time in prison. So, do you feel like Mark did it on purpose?
Honestly, no. I don't. I know he meant to intimidate him.
Yeah, see, his little pause there is pretty telling, because it should have been an immediate answer on the no, right? It was just, there was too much thinking there. If if you knew already that it wasn't intentional, you would immediately just go, no, he didn't do it, But he sort of looked to the side, thought for a moment, then commented.
But I really don't think he meant for the gun to go off like it did. I really don't.
Why did Mark bring the gun up there that morning to begin with?
For intimidation, because he kept telling him
to
stop arguing, quit.
Did you know that he told Brandy that he brought it up there to intimidate you and Tabby because y'all were arguing?
No, because that's a lie. Me and Tabby wasn't even arguing.
See? We're trying to find out the role Brandy had in this. Do you know if Brandy knew Mark had the gun up there? If she knew that he was going to try to shoot DJ, intimidate DJ?
I know she knew the gun was up there, yeah.
Yeah, he seems like this guy here seems like a decent person, just the way he talks and everything. I don't know. But he seems like he's scared of something. I mean, why would he be nervous that he'd be fear for his life in an accidental shooting?
But
she didn't know the gun was up there.
But I don't think that she, like, knew. I don't think Mark intended to shoot DJ. Like I said, he was just trying to scare him into shutting up. Because they've been arguing all day.
Who the hell points a loaded gun at somebody's face? I mean,
a dumbass.
Is he that stupid?
Yeah,
I mean,
he really is. But
that's just like a couple of days before that. He shot the gun off in the ground. Well, he didn't have intentions of shooting it off inside the trailer to intimidate DJ, so why was the gun loaded and cocked? That's what I don't understand.
No idea. I mean, he might, in his mind, had intentions, but Mark he's not that kind of guy. You know what I mean? He's not.
Well, he might have had intentions. He might have had intentions, but he's just not that kind of guy. Well, then how could he might have had those intentions? If he's not that kind of guy, he wouldn't have had those intentions, but you just said he might have had those intentions. And if he had those intentions, how does a gun then just miraculously, accidentally go off?
Yeah, but you also know when people are on drugs, they're capable of doing anything. You don't know what's going through their mind.
Well, that's why I'm where I am.
Yeah, I know. I understand. And I don't judge you for that. My brother had a drug problem. We tried our damnedest to help him. And Brandy
I thought
was
DJ was doing good, but see, I only met DJ like 3-4 times. I mean, I wasn't, you know what I mean?
Well, the good side of DJ, he got that from me.
It sucks that, everything went down the way that it went down, and it's no offense to you, DJ, but I wished I hadn't been in the room when everything went down because, I have no loyalties to DJ. I have no.
You wish you weren't in the room because now you're a witness and you feel like you're in danger for being a witness.
Loyalties to Mark. It's just the truth, and I really don't think Mark meant to shoot him.
But Mark did shoot him. But he just, you don't know if he did it on purpose.
I don't think he had intentions of it. I think he was just trying to scare him into shutting up, and the gun went off.
Mark's finger.
I mean, look at that. You're angry at somebody. You have intentions to shut somebody up. Boom! I mean, that means you did it on purpose, okay? I mean, how does a gun accidentally, miraculously go off in a situation like that?
It was on the trigger, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, finger was on the trigger, yes.
That's all I needed to know, because Mark denies it. He says that he didn't have his finger on the trigger, that DJ cocked the gun back, on the hammer back on the gun, and, I mean, he made this long, drawn-out process that they were fighting over the gun, and that DJ had the gun to begin with, and...
Yeah.
No, I told the investigators that when they come and talk to me.
Let me ask you that. I mean, as soon as the detectives realized that Mark lied in interrogation about that the gun was just sitting next to DJ, and in reality, he's the one that brought it in. When they realized that he was lying about that, how come they didn't immediately change course in this case and start investigating it as a homicide? And then if they had just immediately, within a week or two, interviewed Brandy, and she'd said anything remotely similar to what she wrote in that document, he'd be in prison right now. There's no doubt at all, in my mind, that that's exactly what would be going on.
Back in February, exactly how everything went down.
Well, see, we were told that 2 weeks before this happened that Mark told Brandy that if something was to happen to DJ, that Brandy could draw a check off of him. And so DJ told us...
I had only been down there at Old Man's when that happened. I wasn't staying there then. We had only been there like a day, maybe 2 days.
See, Tabby has confessed that Mark shot DJ and that she thinks he did it intentionally. She did this when he was locked up the last time.
The last time, yeah.
Yeah, back in February.
Yeah, that's right. Meth, okay.
I don't know how she would even, I mean, she wasn't even there. She was there, but she was out in the yard. She wasn't, I don't know how she would, even try to.
As soon as you say meth, like Cairo's saying, it's similar to when it turns out a victim's a prostitute. It's like, oh yeah, they're dead. Oh, prostitute. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we'll get to that one later. We got some other stuff to do.
Say that he done it intentionally.
See, that's what
she wasn't in the room.
Brandy said. Brandy said that Tabby was in the yard and she was coming through the door, but she couldn't see nothing because the towel was over the door.
But she wasn't even coming through the door. She was out on the sidewalk all the way out in the yard. She wasn't even on the porch.
Oh, wait, so I thought, so that statement that, I don't know if that doesn't make any sense to me. So the statement she wrote on that piece of paper was after the private investigator went and visited her, but he visited her in 2017. So how did she make the statement on the 5th, Amanda? I need to get I just want an answer to that one. Because the private investigator didn't interview Brandy until 2017, right? Because he did it right after he interviewed Colburn. He said he was going to go interview Brandy. Oh, that was the original one? Okay, so that handwritten note was written just 2 days after the shooting? Wow, that's incredible. So how come the police didn't do anything with that? So she wasn't even in jail or anything at that time. I was kind of actually hoping she wrote that later. Has she written anything now when she's clean? Does she say the same thing?
And there's no way she could have seen anything because there was a red towel hanging up over the door. There always
Right, that's what Brandy said. But I hate that you're getting drug in this, but Scott, you're the only one that was there. I mean...
Yeah, I know. There was 4 people in the room, and that's me, Mark, DJ, and Brandy. That's the only 4 people that was there.
And the thing about it is Brandy's done told us pretty much exactly what you've told us. You know, I know you lied to begin with, but this is some serious shit, you know. I mean, there ain't nothing that you need to be lying about.
She didn't say that. She said a lot more than he said.
Because you don't want to go down with him.
Well, I was having to stay there at the time, and I was kind of, honestly, in the back of my mind, I thought he might have, you know, that if I told him 100% truth, that he might shoot me next.
Right, well, that's the same thing with Brandy. The investigators don't understand why Brandy didn't tell the truth to begin with.
Okay.
We were told that Mark chased...
Can I get that file too, Amanda? I thought you sent me all the files. If you can send me that one, that'd be great.
Brandy out the door with the gun right after it happened.
No.
That Brandy grabbed the gun up out of DJ's lap and Mark chased her out the door with it.
No.
That didn't
never happened. No.
So, but...
I didn't know Mark hung up on that. He hung up on 911 2 or 3 different times.
Yeah,
I didn't know none
he
of that.
hung up on every time Brandy was getting loud in the background. Mark would hang up on him.
Yeah, and he also would talk over her the whole time. So every time it would sound like this.
Brandy said,
yeah. Hey, I'm operator.
He was.
You know, he didn't want anybody to hear what she was saying.
Background, Mark would hang up on him. Brandy says in the 911 calls, he was shot to death, and then Mark told 911. He said, I grabbed the gun and tried to get it away from him, and she thinks I shot him, and Brandy says, that's a lie. I mean, you can hear it clear as day in the 911 calls.
Well, I think you can actually send them on Gmail, Amanda. Unless, you know, if they're even like, gosh, I don't know. I've seen files sent that are 200, 300, 400 gigabytes on Gmail.
I've never heard.
You just basically all you do is you have a Gmail account, you attach the file to it, send it, and actually maybe I'm thinking more like a gigabyte. But anyways, 500 gigabytes. Yeah, if you send the file, just attach it to a regular email in Gmail, it'll say, okay, this is too big for an email. We'll upload it to Google Drive, and then it sends it like that.
Well, it's like I told my mama. She told me not to listen to this stuff, not to read it, not to look at it. But like I told her, you know, in order for me to do anything, I've got to know everything.
Right.
And I'm stubborn and hard-headed, and I'm not going to stop.
You didn't look at none of the pictures, did you?
No, I've not looked at any. I've looked at all the pictures except any that had DJ involved in them. I didn't want to see that.
Don't,
I don't want to see
Don't
that.
ever look. Yeah, don't ever do that, because, I mean, that's an image you can't get rid of.
Well, Brandy told us details of what he looked like when it happened, and that every time I look at a picture of DJ, that was all I seen was half his face, gone. And that's the image I'll never get out of my head.
Yeah, it messes with you. Don't ever look at those pictures.
I won't. But I got his tattoo. Got his picture tattooed on me. You see it?
Yeah. Yep, that's DJ. The big flat bill hat.
Yep. But we miss him so much, Scott. You have no idea.
Yeah,
And we just want
I picked on him. I picked on him about picking his nose all the time. I always had his pinky in his nose.
We always told him to pick us a winner.
Yeah.
He always had sores and ulcers in his nose. He got that from his daddy. But I've forgotten his laugh. I mean, it's almost been a year, but
Well,
it feels like it just happened last week.
Start uploading it and go to the store or something.
And it seems like it's been forever since I've seen him. I miss him so much.
I understand.
And, I mean, you just need to understand, what if this was Amy? What if this was your sister? I mean, you would want whoever did this. Yeah, and I'm not gonna stop until Mark is in jail. I mean, he may not admit to shoot DJ, but he lied and tried to cover it up. And I've got a death certificate that says he killed himself. And so when them babies grow up and get older, they're gonna think that we're lying to them as if their daddy killed himself.
Yeah, basically you could play in like 1 second you could convince his kids that it wasn't a suicide. All you have to do is play the video of Mark explaining what happened.
And so when them babies grow up and get older, they're going to think that we're lying to them as if their daddy killed himself. And that's not right. Because DJ didn't kill himself.
No.
And he never would have. He played that part, he played that card all the time. Oh, I'll just kill myself. But it was a card. It was DJ's crutch to try to get his way, to try to get what he wanted. But DJ would have never killed himself because he knew what it was like to grow up without a daddy. And he wasn't done that to his baby.
I told the investigators, when I talked to them in February that, I do whatever they needed me to do. I'm not saying that it was right, but I very strongly, I don't think it was intentional, but but like you said, why would you bring a loaded gun to
why would you point a loaded gun? Brandy's baby brother got killed about a month ago the same way.
I didn't know
he was
that.
16 years old, and his best friend was playing with a pistol, and he shot it off into the ground 3 or 4 times. He had the clip in his pocket. Then he pointed it at somebody and pulled the trigger. Nothing happened. A couple hours later, he pointed it at Brandy's baby brother. He was 16 years old. Pointed it at him and pulled the trigger, and it went off and killed him. Shot him right between the eyes. So Brandy's going to be fucked up from this. I mean...
Yeah. Where's she at now?
I mean, she's down in Alto, Georgia.
I didn't know if she was... Is she still in jail?
Yeah, they sent her off until November.
Well, I'm hoping I go back to court like next year or next month, and I'm hoping I can get all my bullshit behind me.
Well, you need to get it taken care of and get it put in the past. And Amy's been telling me the problems you have with your health and everything, and you need to stay off those drugs, Scott.
Yeah. Matter of fact, tell Amy I had to go to the hospital when you talked to her. Tell her I had to go back to the hospital yesterday, or day before yesterday, and I might be having another heart surgery tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah. I got to go back.
How's this guy doing now? Is he better, or is he back on drugs again?
I'm supposed to go back to the doctor this afternoon to but they have 4 new blockages. I hadn't got to talk to Amy because I ain't got no time on my phone.
You know, those drugs ain't helping that.
Yeah.
Hey, good night, Claudia Neubauer. Good night.
Like, my heart hurts when I don't have.
By the way, everybody, Chloe has just absolutely taken over Blue's actual crate. I mean, she's inside of Blue's crate below my feet, and now Blue is in his old bed where you can see him on video. But man, my God, no wonder Blue's. Well, maybe Blue's being a gentleman, letting her sleep in there for a little bit.
Any drugs? I know it sounds crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
we're sober.
and that's what I told Amy. You know, just by the shit that y'all seen that day with DJ, I mean that would be enough for me. I've never done drugs, but I could understand if I seen that. I could understand somebody doing drugs. I mean, that's something that would fuck with me if I never even knew the person, you know?
Yeah, it's something you don't forget.
Yeah.
Ever.
I can imagine.
I
can imagine.
And
Brandy,
every time I hear a gunshot, it takes me back to that day.
Yeah,
Don't
well,
matter
you know,
if it's on TV, if it's real life. Every time I hear a gunshot, it takes me back.
Yeah, you've got post-traumatic stress disorder from it. And I've been diagnosed with that. I've been diagnosed with severe anxiety and major depression. They've got me on so much medicine that if I took it the way I was supposed to, I'd be a walking zombie. But I have a 6-year-old little girl that I had to take care of, so I can't take my medicine the way I'm supposed to. So.
Right.
Okay, I took. I did just take Chloe out of Blue's crate, and then put Blue in there, and then Chloe came up to the front of the crate, and then Blue got out of his crate and let Chloe go back into it. But actually, now I put Blue back in, and I'm sealing him in. All right, back.
So you've never done drugs?
I smoked weed back in the day when I was a teenager, but that's
weed,
all.
Weed is not a drug.
Yeah, well, I still consider it a drug, but it gives me migraines when I even smell it now. I don't smoke it, but anytime I smell it, it just gives me a migraine. But I've never done any other drug.
I should have met a good girl like you back in the day.
You should have. And I'm going to tell you right now.
Turned out a little different.
Well, I've been married 18 years to the same man. Been married since I was 18 years old. And he was, I'm not going to lie, when me and him first got together, he was on drugs. And I straightened his ass out. So, the thing about it is, if somebody loves you enough,
I don't know,
they're not
Gene.
going to want you to do the drugs. And they're
Who
going
cares
to do
why he
everything
put the
they can
phone
to help
down?
you. And that's like with DJ, you know, Brandy was DJ's problem. If DJ could have got away from Brandy, DJ would have been all right. But Amy wanted me to tell you that she would be here Sunday, I think she said, to see you.
Sunday?
Yeah.
Well,
but
I know
appreciate you talking to me.
Probably didn't help you with anything, but I hope I did.
Yeah, you did, because Mark denies his finger being on that trigger. He said he don't know how the gun went off.
It is a
his
drug,
finger was
Linda.
not on that trigger.
Marijuana is a drug, okay?
Yeah.
And you helped me by telling me who wiped down the gun, because we knew it was wiped down. I just didn't know who wiped it down.
Yeah, it was. I don't see how it could have been ruled that they said it was, you know, suicide just because of the angle of the shot. It shouldn't have been. Yeah,
I mean, it was because he was sent down to the crime lab as a suicide victim. The deputy coroner told me if they had sent him down there with a note attached.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, when I watch this interview, what I see is a guy here that is not really telling completely the whole truth, but he doesn't look nervous or anything like that. It's just the way he is. He's just talking. Okay. He probably feels pretty safe now, but earlier he asked, "Hey, where's Mark?" Because he's probably hoping that Mark's in prison somewhere else, like in some other place. And then you know what's crazy is, you know what might have been something interesting to say, Amanda, and not Amanda Belg, but the Amanda Shirley, is when he had said that, hey, do you know where he is? Oh yeah, he's locked up right now. I'm not sure what it's for. I wonder if he would have said a little bit more. You know, even though that wouldn't have been the truth. I wonder if he might have said, oh, okay. Yeah, and then maybe was a little bit more aggressive towards the truth there. Because, you know, the truth is, you know, Brandy seems to have a different story than this guy. Even though they're pretty close, this guy seems scared for his life. So his story is going to be a little bit more self-serving and defending of Mark.
That they would have done a full autopsy, but because he was sitting down there with a...
Yes, Gene, we know. Oh, my God.
With no note attached, as a suicide victim, only a limited autopsy was done. But it says in there that he was shot left to right, front to back, at a downward angle. He had 3 pellets come out of his right side of his ear here.
Yeah, no, I'm the one who cleaned everything up.
Yeah, so...
I carried the furniture out and done all the mopping
and see, they shouldn't have let y'all burn that couch. That love seat was evidence. They shouldn't have let y'all touch that couch.
Well, they didn't even, you know, every homicide that I've seen.
Everybody knows that, Gene. We've been talking about it all night.
They send a crew out to clean things up.
Right, a forensic specialist.
A hazmat crew. Sorry, as a buddy of mine.
That's okay.
And they didn't do that. They just left. And
yeah, well, that's just like they shouldn't have let people in there at all. They should have took every one of y'all down to that police station and questioned y'all separately. They should have had forensic specialists come in there.
It was days later.
Right. They should have done it that day. And I mean,
it was well over a week or so before
well, it's because they didn't know y'all were actually there. But as far as Brandy and Mark, they should have took them down to the police station that day and questioned them separately. Because even if it is a suicide, it's actually called a suicide investigation. When a suicide is called in, it is supposed to be handled as a homicide until they can prove that it was a suicide.
Right.
And they didn't do that. They didn't do it.
They just immediately suicide.
They went with the suicide story and ran with it. That's just like Brandy. If she would have, I know she was hysterical the day that it happened, but if she would have just calmed down, if they'd have calmed her down long enough, she would have told them what happened. And Mark could have been arrested right there on the spot. But they didn't take the time to do that. So, it's not going the way that we planned it to, which we didn't plan for my brother to get killed either, but, you know, sometimes life takes you down a different path. But it's gonna end with somebody being in jail, and we all know who that's gonna be.
Right. Well, Mark's disappeared now, from what I understand.
Yeah.
He's gone from old man's.
Yeah, from what I heard, old man run him off, and he took his camper and everything with him. But I'm gonna tell you something. A private investigator could find him.
Well, there's only 2 places where he'll go. He's either at the old man's or he's at his mama's.
Yeah, that's why I figured he's either at his mom's or he's at his son's or his, you know, kid's house or sister's.
No,
so he wouldn't be hard to find.
His sister won't let him come there.
She won't?
No, he'll be at his mama's if he's anywhere.
That's where I figured he was either at his mom's or his son, Blake.
I don't even reckon they talked. They had a real bad falling out over the holidays last year, and him and Blake don't talk no more, from what I understand.
Oh, really? Right.
He'll be at his mama's if he's anywhere.
Right. Well, like I said, I'm not worried about that because a private investigator could find him. And we got a private investigator from Atlanta going to take the case. So he's going to go back and he's going to do forensics and ballistics and all that other stuff. So don't be surprised if you get, you know, somebody wanting to talk to you again.
Right.
Just be honest with them. And
I'll do whatever, you know.
And like I told Amy, you know, when this shit goes to court, you're going to want us on your side. because you lied. I mean, so it don't look good on you, but you just need to you need to tell the truth regardless. You know, whether we're on your side, for you, against you, you need to tell the truth.
Right.
You know, God would want it that way.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you another thing, too. You need to second guess your wife.
Yeah, I think it was on a podcast.
And y'all need to get.
I mean, I know a lot of people have talked about this case out there. I just haven't seen. I mean, to be honest with you, I haven't watched. I don't like doing that. I don't like watching other people's podcasts and everything on cases because I don't want what they said to interfere with anything that I think. Right? I don't want to have it. I don't want to have it. Anything that they thought have anything to do with what I think. I just want to come up with what I think on my own by going over the information.
Off the damn drugs.
I'm filing for divorce when I get out this time.
Well, if you love one another, you work it out, you know. But, you know, drugs and shit like
I've
that
been to jail.
is what got my brother killed.
I've been to jail 3 times in my life, and this is the 3rd time I'm on right now. And 2 of them times I've been with my wife, and she disappears with other people the whole time I'm in jail. So, yeah, that ain't what I need in my life.
No. But, you know, people ain't the same person when they're on drugs.
I'll tell you what the worst thing in the... I almost want to go back and listen to the medical examiner again. Because listening to her, she sounded like a moron. Like an absolute... just a joke. I mean, didn't seem to know anything and just said, oh yeah, suicide, how come? Well, because he had drugs in his system. I know, but he didn't even pull the trigger, you know. Well, still, he had drugs. Well, so what?
It's that guy, right?
People ain't the same person when they're on drugs, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it changes people. So she may love you, but she's on those drugs.
Before drugs, everything was a whole lot different. Because I didn't even start doing any kind of, I mean, I smoked pot and stuff back in the day, and I done dope and meth and stuff back in the day, but I hadn't done nothing in 12 years till 2 years ago.
Well, you need to go back to not doing it.
Yeah, I already know.
There's people that, your sister loves you to death, and you need to kill her if something happened to you.
Yeah, she's the only one I got left.
Well, you know, people always think when they're on drugs they ain't got nobody don't love them or care for them, and it's not that we don't love y'all, it's that when you're on the drugs, y'all drag us down with you, and we can't do it. You know, so it's not that nobody loves you, they do. You just gotta stay away from that shit.
It just does. It does, doesn't it?
I'm gonna go ahead and let you. Yeah, you do, especially with your heart problems.
I mean, have you ever talked to anybody in Congress or a senator or just any freaking attorney out there, a pro bono type? I mean, just say, hey, this is a pretty big case. Maybe you want to look at it. It just feels like somebody could get this thing going. To me, I think you could actually just take it to court just to have a case about how it's not suicide. Literally, like a civil suit on how this case is not suicide. Literally have a case against the medical examiner in the city and say, hey, this is not a suicide and here's why, and have everybody come in and everybody testify, and then that might open the door to something else. I just think it's a joke right now. Okay? Yeah, who knows? You know, I'm just saying I would actually sue the county and have a trial on this case. It's absolutely insane. Yeah, well, how about you just file a lawsuit against the city and say, I want a case, I want a case against this. I don't know how to do it, okay? But, you probably need to get an attorney somehow and file a suit against the city of just absolute, negligence in investigating a case and even determining it. I mean, they literally have, out of the guy's mouth, Mark's mouth himself said that he pulled the gun away, had the actual trigger mechanism in his hand, and then I mean, even though this part isn't true, that means it's something worse than this. And then Brandy pulls his hand, and then boom! Which, right then, you know that DJ does not have his fingers on the trigger whatsoever. So he didn't pull it. Therefore, it's not a suicide. Okay? It's either an accidental shooting or something much worse than that. And I think it's probably more likely to be something much worse than that, since we already know that Mark lied in interrogation when he said that, oh, well, the gun was just sitting next to DJ, and then he grabbed it, and he was like, oh, he stuck it in his mouth and everything. No, you actually brought it out from the back of the room and were using it to intimidate him, according to 2 witnesses that were there and saw it.
Is that an
But
impact?
I'm still aiming. A dermal.
And I feel like I just want to call and go. I want to call that medical examiner and say, are you aware of this information? Have you seen any of this? What difference does it make that he had meth in his system? Who cares? That has nothing to do with anything. Okay? Yeah, maybe made him, he was on drugs, but he didn't pull the trigger.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did it hurt?
No, I thought it was going to kill me, but I didn't even feel it.
I seen this one chick that had one, and it blacked her whole eye and everything when she got it done.
Yeah, I didn't even feel it. They took a little hole
I like
puncher and just dug it out and popped it in. They said I had a teardrop of blood running down my face. It looked like I was crying blood.
Yeah, that isn't true at all.
But
Yeah.
it was the last one I got, and it was the least painful of all of them. I should have started with those. But
Well,
I appreciate
if
you
anything
talking
else,
to me.
Don't hesitate to make an appointment and come see me. Hopefully next
I
time
sure
I see
will.
you, we can be face to face instead of talking on the phone.
Yeah, and you'll be clean and sober still,
Yeah.
because I know you are
That's-
now.
That's definitely got to happen.
Yeah, you need to get you some help.
All right. Well, I'm sorry for your loss, and I wish it hadn't happened that way.
Thank you, and just like I said, if anybody else wants to talk to you, just please tell them the truth.
I will.
Thank you, Scott. You have a good day.
All right. You too.
All right, bye.
It's kind of weird just to kind of watch. Like, he goes back there and he's like, yeah, man, I don't know. I mean, basically, he just sits there and nothing. Yeah. It's funny how people walk by and they look at themselves. Like, what are you looking at? There's nobody there. You look like weirdos. Anyways.
Derek.
Hey, this is Detective Ellenberg returning your call.
Hey, hold on, Terry. Let me take you off the speaker. Hold on for a minute. Dang it.
Is this a different one than the one before? Oh, I think we've already heard this one. Let's see.
Okay.
And 100%, I do not believe.
Yeah, we heard that one. Oh, yeah, let me play the interview with the... I think it's the... Well, it's not an interview. It's just the private investigator.
My name is Eric Eccles, and I'm a private investigator. I was hired by Amanda Shirley and her family to look into the death of their brother DJ. DJ's death was ruled a suicide.
Hey, look, it's even got the Christmas tree.
And in fact, it was actually a homicide. Based on the factual evidence...
Look, you shouldn't have to get national attention, Amanda. It's already been out there. Somebody else needs to hear about this. And have you tried getting a hold of any Congress people? You know, somebody in your local district, a congressman or woman, and see if they can do something about it. Have you tried that? Like, literally write a letter and send it to them and ask if they can do anything about it. And heck, I mean, you know what you should do is literally send a short video. I mean, I could even put together clips that you put together an order and it's just really obvious that there's no, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it just seems like you can get this done. Seriously. I have a hard time. I'm going to try to actually call over there and see what's going on myself. Just for the hell of it. See what's going on. See how they act. I'll even record it.
That was obtained through witness interviews, police reports, the polygraph examination. All of these things clearly identify and show that DJ's death was a homicide. Some of the evidence that was identified, there was an eyewitness who stated that the person of interest actually went and got the gun and held it to DJ's head. There was evidence where, a 911 tape, where the 911 operator gave specific instructions for the person of interest to tamper with the crime scene. There was no gun residue test done on DJ's hand. There's just countless number of mistakes. The coroner did not have all the information needed to solidify or to do her investigation as far as the autopsy was concerned and to rule it a homicide. So again, there was a lot of different things that happened and occurred that led to a misjustice being done and ruling this a suicide. My job was actually to get this information, get all the evidence that I could, and try to get them to overturn the suicide to a homicide so justice can be done and the person of interest can be arrested. Again, my name is Eric Echoes, and I'm a private investigator.
Yeah, I think this guy, he nails it, right? I mean, he must be kind of like dumbfounded himself, thinking to himself, how in the hell is this still in this situation? God, it's crazy. Let me look at the well, now I'm going to put my music back on. Yeah, so we'll just make that part 1, all right? So I think we should go over every single document that's in this. So if you can send me that other interview you have with Brandy, try to email it. Like, just do it before you go to bed or something. And by the morning time, it should be ready to go. On the left side of the tongue, located approximately 5 inches below the top of the head and approximately 1 inch to the left of the... How come there's no drawings of it? Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I was convinced literally in 10 minutes that it wasn't a suicide. It just... It's almost like now they just aren't going to change it because they didn't collect any evidence and they don't want that to come out that they just blew it. That's really seems what's going on here. So instead of them actually just admitting that, they are willing to just completely ignore justice to make themselves look good. Let's listen to the medical examiner one more time, okay? Do you guys mind? Because that stuff's just lunacy, pure lunacy. So here's the medical examiner explaining why it's still a suicide.
Hi, Mr. Eccles. My
Yes.
name is Dr. Brandy. How
Remember,
are you?
I was the cute
Hey,
one.
how you doing, Dr. Brandy?
Oh, you remember me? Yay!
Doing well. I'm glad you remember me.
Oh, yes.
So I just wanted to let you know we got the toxicology report back on Mr. Ficky, and it showed stimulants that were present and not any
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with Mark.
drug in his blood. And
See, the conspiracy whack job, conspiracy nut wackos will say, oh my God, they're covering up for Mark because they're selling drugs at the police department. No, it's not. They're covering up because they just did a rush for judgment. It was probably an area they just thought, oh God, this is trash. Forget it. Yeah, don't worry about it. Suicide. Yeah. And they didn't do anything that they were supposed to do. And it turns out later that it actually looks more like a homicide than any kind of intentionally, suicide. And I actually think it looks more like a homicide of the intentional variety in the murder category. Okay?
That I am going to stick with the cause and manner of death that are listed in the autopsy report. And if you need a copy of the toxicology report, you can request that via Open Records, which I believe you've been in touch with to get copies of the autopsy report and other items as well.
Thank you.
So to make sure I understand, the toxicology report came back and the drugs that were found doesn't indicate that it was a homicide. You're sticking with suicide?
It shows a stimulant that's present.
So what? So what?
Based on that,
but listen to how that's just such ludicrous reasoning. Listen.
It shows a autopsy report and other items as well.
Okay, so here we go.
So to make sure I understand, the toxicology report came back and the drugs that were found doesn't indicate that it was a homicide. You're sticking with suicide?
So the drugs don't indicate that it was a homicide. It's a suicide because he had drugs in his system. What a moron. I mean, really? I mean,
it shows a stimulant that's present.
Stimulant present, sure. Okay.
Based on that
information,
there's not anything that would appear to have rendered him unable
other than the shotgun to the face.
Defend himself. And it appears that it is most consistent with a suicide still.
Oh God, you're insane. You are insane. Okay?
Even after all the other evidence.
Gray, you're so mean. You're so mean to women. See, that's what I get. See, here's the thing. I want to tell you guys this right now. If you're dumb, you're dumb. Okay? I don't really care. And if everybody wants to be equal in society, if you're a woman, if you're a man, and you say something stupid and I say it's stupid, it doesn't mean I have something against women. Okay? It means that I don't like your comment and that it's dumb. Okay? This is an idiot right here. All right? So if you want everything to be equal and everybody's treated the same, then don't complain when you say something stupid and I might say, God, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Oh my God, you're so mean. But I would say the same thing to a guy. All right? So I treat everybody the same. And if you can't handle that, then don't ask for equal at anything. All right? I'm just exactly the same ass or whatever you want to call it to whoever the hell I'm talking to. All right. Thank you.
Oh.
God, this person.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I feel exactly like this guy. Let's go back.
Still.
Yeah, still. Okay.
Huh. Even after all the other evidence.
Yes.
Huh. Okay. And even, I mean, was there a firearm residue test done on Mr. Ficky before he was cremated?
No, of course not. Yeah, why would we do that? It was a suicide. Yeah. Why would we do that?
It is not routinely performed unless it is requested. Let me check through the evidence.
So it's not routinely done when someone's face is shot with a shotgun, and they didn't even have their hands on the trigger.
If I don't recall doing one.
Hey, thank you, T. Curly. On Streamlabs.
Thank you, Gray.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that new voice.
Those are just the projectiles. So, no, I did not do a firearm gunshot residue collection. It was not requested at the time, and that is not routinely performed.
Oh, wait, hold on.
So we really don't know that he had the shotgun in his hand and fired it if there was no
I'm going
residue.
to rewind it some more. Let's just keep listening to this over and over again.
Evidence for firearm.
Evidence for firearm. Yeah, I'm not really sure.
Projectiles. Just 1
Yeah,
minute.
hold on. Yeah,
My
we
system
pretty much
was a
don't have
little slow,
anything
so I'm
on this,
trying to
sir.
open
We're
it. Firearms. Yes, those are just the projectiles. So, no, I did not do a firearm gunshot residue collection. It was not requested at the time, and that is not routinely performed.
Even when someone gets shot in the face
So
without
we
having
really
their hand
don't
on the
know
trigger.
that he had the shotgun in his hand and fired it if there was no residue. Test it.
Well, that gets into the validity of gunshot residue, which I believe you should probably speak to a firearms expert on.
Oh, okay.
Which I am.
Okay.
Okay. All right. All
I
right.
don't need to
So
speak
in order
to
to get the toxicology report, to just do another open records? Or is
Yes,
it,
you can do another open records request, and then you should be able to get a copy of the toxicology
Look how
report
condescending she is.
it's not nothing, since you know who I am and I've already done an open records for all of the records for the case. Can it just be sent to me?
Well, you have to do a
I
new
don't
file
believe
for
it
some
can
more.
because this was done after you had
Right. Well, then it should
requested
still
the
be.
records at that time.
But I think an open records is standing, isn't it?
Yeah, it should just be covered for
Honestly,
anything
I'm not
coming.
aware because all of these requests get directed to the open records, but I never actually give records to people, so I'm not sure what that procedure is and what I'd be allowed to give you. So you could contact them and see if that's still a standing thing, and they would be able
sounds
to send
fantastic.
it over to you.
Okay. So it was a stimulant. What drug was found in there? What was the stimulant?
He had methamphetamine.
So he had meth.
So did he just have meth in his system still? Because when you when you read Brandy's note, she says that they didn't take meth when they were offered it. So is that something? Is she lying about that, or is it just something like he had meth from the day before or earlier, or what?
Yes.
And that stimulant having meth in the system, I'm just trying to make sure I understand. Would not have prevented him from
I totally
defending
agree,
himself.
Amanda. She is really one of the dumbest people I've ever heard.
So it would make he would be active.
He would be
Well,
active.
here's what she is. She's one of those people that's probably book smart, like really has a bunch of knowledge, but can't synthesize reality. You know what I'm talking about. Those types that are really like, yes, they'll be in the middle of being robbed, and they'll be talking, yes, well, technically my money's mine and I have it in my wallet, and the guy's stealing it from him, and they don't really even get where they're at or anything. It's just sort of like these people that are really smart, book smart, but have no brains in terms of street smarts. They have no clue what's really going on. I mean, how did she have that answer? So you're still saying this is a suicide? Yeah, well, he had stimulants in his system, and therefore it's consistent with suicide. There's really no reason to overturn it. Well, what about the statement made by Mark when he said that he actually had his hand on the trigger, and then his arm was pulled, and then it fired? Wouldn't that just automatically, ma'am, make it an accidental shooting and not a suicide? Just even that story? And then what about the letter written by Brandy, who clearly stated that Mark was agitated, went back to the back room, got a gun, came out, and aimed it at him? What about that part? Does that matter at all? Or is it just the fact that he had meth in his system, therefore it's suicide? Jesus. So I guess if you're on meth, everybody, this is the lesson, everybody. If you're on meth and you are, let's say there's 20 people that are all on meth, and a guy drives by with a machine gun and blows them all away, it's just a suicide of all 20 of them. And the reason is because they all have meth in their system.
Yes.
Okay, so, and I'm just asking questions here. So, if someone holds a shotgun to your head, he has a stimulant, and he grabs the barrel, wouldn't that be active?
Remember, in this case, it's an intraoral, so the barrel was inside of the mouth with the mouth closed.
Okay. So he couldn't have been, and I'm just asking, he couldn't have been sleeping.
You know what, when ISIS was killing all those people, they should have given them all meth first. And then when the world's courts came forward and said, hey, look at the barbarians, look what they're doing, they could just said, no, they were all on meth, it was suicide.
For anything, and the guy put the gun in his mouth.
Well, and that's why we were checking to see if depressants were present in his system, and they were not.
And there was no depressants. Okay. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was clear on what your findings were. All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, ma'am.
I wonder if she got off that call. Did she give it even a second thought after that and say, wow, man, I might want to go back and look at my notes here. I bet she didn't. She just doesn't seem like that type of person. She seems like she immediately just started working another case, never gave it another thought, because, like I said, that's one of those book smart people. It's just sort of robotic, just sort of repetitive shit that they learn. Man, I don't know. I'm so pissed off at this one. And I was pissed off the other day. It's just taken me a while to actually get to this. But when Amanda sent me all these files, I remember first thing I did was watch the interrogation of Mark. And within, 5 minutes, I was like, well, this already isn't a suicide. Is there anybody out there at all that thinks that this could even possibly be a suicide whatsoever? I mean, just even the slightest possibility. There isn't. There's zero chance. Because as a matter of fact, the guy that actually had the gun in his hand, he said it wasn't. And why would he do that? I mean, he's the guy that would say, oh yeah, well, he pulled the trigger and I was right there. He would have just made something like that up. He even had time. He even said that after he wiped the gun clean, after the moronic 911 operator said, hey, by the way, where's the gun? Well, it's sitting next to him. And he even said, Mark, well, I put it next to him. And then she said, well, why don't you go secure it and put your fingerprints on it again? I mean, this is pure insanity. I haven't got to those yet, Amanda. I'm just as part one. We're just going to go through. So I don't even know how many parts this is going to take, but I'm going to go through every single file that you sent to me originally. And then if you can send me that interview with Brandy, that would be great. All right. So this is part one, and we'll be doing a part two. Gosh, I don't know. Now I want to get to this maybe like Tuesday or something like that. Or hell, maybe tomorrow I'll do part. Well, tomorrow's the call-in show where people call in and tell their stories. Although that gets a lot of times people aren't calling in because we've had this. It seems like everybody who has a story to tell is called in. As a matter of fact, Amanda, you were one of the people who called in with your story a few weeks back. And then you sent me the information, and look how ridiculous this case is. God. Doesn't it seem like there should be an agency out there that actually all they do is fight for stuff like this? You know, you have like the Innocence Projects and those kind of things, but how about wrongful death determinations? It almost seems like there should be an organization like the Innocence Project who fights for, because we have so many cases like that. We have Jonathan Cruz, you know, the other one, I think that Sheila Wysocki, Andraki, I think is his name. Same kind of thing. They call it a, but at least in the Jonathan Cruz case, they wrote down undetermined. So that's a good thing. All right, so that case is even less provable than this one. This one here is just cut and dry, not a suicide. Man. But it'd be great if there was an organization out there that said, really? Wow. They dig into it, they determine and say, you know what? And they file papers and they get things looked at and changed. I think there should be a mechanism where there's court hearings where you have to bring the medical examiner in with attorneys and counter evidence people that say, listen, wow, how could this be? I've said it 15 times already. There is no way in hell that this should be a suicide at all. And does it really come down to the medical examiner just finally saying, okay, and then changing it? It sounds like she's the person that needs to be communicated with by somebody. Nah, it can be done again. I know it's there's coroner inquests. Sometimes they do those too, even when like a case has been over for years and they finally figured out maybe who the killer is, but the killer's dead, and then they'll do a coroner's inquest just to sort of prove it. But I think that, man, I don't know how you sleep at night, Amanda. Honestly, I think I would be going to sleep every night with clenched teeth, wanting to punch somebody. Honest to God. I almost feel like we should be playing this music. And yes, to the Georgia medical examiner, the absolute moron, who believes that if you merely have methamphetamines in your system, that if you happen to die, it's suicide. It doesn't matter how it happens, it's just suicide no matter what if you have meth in your system. A person, you could be on meth and somebody grab you and throw you into a meat grinder, pump you out as hamburger, and it is suicide because you have meth in your system. As a matter of fact, what the state should do when they're about to before they execute you, they should just give you meth. And then later they can say, well, we haven't executed anybody in 20 years. And they'll say, wow, that's weird. And then they could say, well, it was a suicide by electricity because he had meth in his system. In fact, when we injected the guy with the lethal drugs, he literally killed himself. And how did he do it? Well, we first gave him some meth. And at that point, it goes away from being a murder or us killing him into a suicide. All right, everybody. Yes, what exactly are the qualifications in that area? Is it merely filling out one of the forms in a Cracker Jack box? Or do you actually have to get some schooling? I mean, I think it's amazing. Think how awesome that kind of schooling would be and how simple it would be. In class, they just say, listen, if you can't figure something out, just find meth in their body and call it a suicide. Well, if you just take 2 hours of online classes, sure. Well, what kind of ongoing training do you have, man? Well, I read this book once. What did it say, man? Well, it said that if you have meth in your body, it's suicide no matter how you die. Wow, sounds like you went to a great school there. Yes, there was a plane crash yesterday, everybody. It killed all 50 people in there. 42 of them will receive payout. However, 8 of them had meth in their system and will get absolutely nothing as it was suicide. Come on, that was a good one, you guys. Too late, man. That's too late, Amanda. Amanda Belg. Jesus. Oh, man. Or you guys must be on a big lag or something, maybe. Yeah, pretty much. Well, anyways, hey Amanda, I'm sorry you're having to go through this. We're going to continue to go through these files until we're all done. I feel like we just need, I think there just needs to be some calls made. I almost want to call and just go off on one of these people and record it. Like I want to call the medical examiner and say, but you're aware of these statements that were made, right? Did you see the interrogation? Does that change your mind at all? Or does meth just mean suicide? Because when I tell you right now this information, does it affect you at all? Does it make you want to take a second look? Well, sir. Yeah. Because I'll tell you what, that's what I'd be doing. Amanda Belg and Amanda Shirley. The two Amandas tonight. I got it. I have to do it. I can't not do it. Can you send me the contact information on that medical? At least give me your name or something. What the hell is her name? It's, I think it's actually here, right? No, it just says ME explaining. Yeah, so send me that. Yeah, you got that? Well, email it to me then. I don't have to, I can't write it down or... I'll look up the number and everything. It just needs a name. God. I mean, when I think I remember you at CrimeCon, actually. You went last year, right, Amanda? I think I saw you there. Maybe you didn't. I don't remember, but it felt like you were there. You look familiar. I don't even care. You know what? Here's the thing. It doesn't even matter anymore. Oh, so you went. I went too. So I think I might have seen you. I was in the podcast row, sitting next to Mike Morford, John Lorden, and Danielle Hallen. I was like, wow. Why? How come I'm even sitting here with these guys? Yeah. Then I realized, hey, I do the same damn thing. Yeah, well, I was sitting right to John's left. Oh yeah, cool. That you probably were able to get out a lot of information. What I want to do this year, Amanda, is have I want to be live streaming from CrimeCon and allow victims of murders and crime that are there, because there's a ton of people walking around and I want them to just tell their story, and then I have another guest come up. But at least it gets it out there right away, and then it actually starts piquing interest in people when they are able to tell their stories. You know what, Amanda? The case is so simple, though. You know, I don't even think you need all of that to do it. You know, maybe you could try to reenact the angle of the shot, that kind of thing. That'd be interesting. But you've got 2 witnesses that were right there. 3, let's see. 2 witnesses that were right there that say it was not a suicide. It's that simple. You literally get the video of both the guy that is in prison. I forgot his name all of a sudden. Colburn and Brandy. You just put those together, and they say what they say, and you also take the interrogation video of what Mark said, and immediately it's outside the realm of suicide. There is 0 chance. Yeah. You know, maybe I should work on putting together just a quick, you know, clip type of thing. If you can get me that video of Brandy, that'd be great. So what you should do is send it in a few minutes and just let it run overnight so I can get that. I know, when he's sitting down, it looks like an upward angle, right? And then I know that you said, and I think the autopsy said it was a downward angle. So how'd that happen? That means he was standing up, and Mark and DJ was sitting down. So Mark was standing up, holding the shotgun, and just shot him. Yeah, see, just send me everything you got. We got to get every single bit of this out there. Yeah, it doesn't really make videos and much smaller at all when you zip them at all. So barely. They've already been compressed. It works great for like, you know, Word documents, you know, big text files or something like that. But All right. Well, I don't think I have much more to talk about tonight. So why don't we'll do part 2. How about Monday? We'll do it. That sound good? Do part 2 on Monday. We'll go. It's going to be more me reading things, and there's more interviews. It looks like. I think out in that main folder. Like, what's this one? Oh, that's 609 again. How long is this one? That's 609 again. So some of these are duplicates. Oh, that's the...
And I'm calling from the GBI Medical Examiner's office in reference to a case that you had given me multiple...
Oh, let's see. What is she saying here?
Hi, Mr. Eccles. My name is Dr. Grandi, and I'm calling from the GBI Medical Examiner's
just a return
office
call.
in reference to a case that you had given me multiple files and documents on. I spoke with the chief, Dr. Eisenstadt, about this case, and we will be running a complete toxicology panel.
Okay, so that was before that.
6 to 8 weeks.
Who cares about the toxicology panel? See, that's the part that's ludicrous. Like, oh, wow, you're right. We need to do more work here. Hey, let's run a toxicology panel. That'll do it. What a joke. All right. Hey, Amanda, we're going to do at the end of my shows, we do a flyby. Somewhere in the world. We just fly around for a couple, 3, maybe 6 minutes or so. So you pick a place, we'll go there. Also, thank you everybody who contributed to the channel tonight. Let's see. So thank you to Shelly Ann, Veronica Williams, Claudia Neubauer, Sean Beecham, Sooner History, and then I know that there was a couple on PayPal. Just a second. Oh yeah, and then Latina Too Sweet for You is what her name is on the Gmail account. Yeah, so I think that was it. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks for supporting the channel. And let's see. Yeah, cool. So where do you want to do the flyby, Amanda? I've done the Norwegian fjords 3 or 4 times. Yeah, we do we fly around somewhere in the world. So you got to watch it. We play this music and fly around. Kind of puts you in a more peaceful place at the end of the show. Oh, okay. Well, here's what I'll if you want to pick a place, like it could be, it's usually pretty good when you pick like a desert area with rocks, things like that. Oh yeah. Oh, you mean the yeah. I saw that. Thank you very much, Debbie. I forgot to mention that. And thanks for all of you Patreon supporters out there. Really appreciate it. I mean, it's nice to have this income that comes in each month. All right, New Zealand. Let's see what's over there. Okay, this is New Zealand. It's weird that there's snow in New Zealand, right? You don't really think of that when you think of it, but here we go. Oh wait, hold on a second. But by the way, what have you heard any word on your uncle, Debbie? Just really quick. Any word on him? Sorry, I just realized that I remembered that we were talking about that the other night. Just a second. I don't know word. Jeez, it's crazy. And one more time. Yeah, we just say don't get murdered in general. You know? Those are the clouds being mapped onto the surface. This is where Lord of the Rings was filmed. Kind of looks like it, doesn't it? This must be where Helm's Deep was. And if you didn't like Lord of the Rings, there's something wrong with you. That was the flyby at the end of the show. Thank you guys for all for showing up. And gosh, I'm really sorry, Amanda Shirley, since there's another Amanda in here. I'm really sorry that you had to go through this ridiculous. I'm not even sure what kind of fight you call it. It's just pure lunacy. It's like a absolute circus, mind-numbingly stupid people who. I mean, if I was that detective that was on, why isn't he fighting for it? He knows what the hell's up. He almost sent it to, the prosecutor. Or he sent it to him, and the prosecutor goes, well, we don't have enough. Okay, so now it's a suicide? Come on, everybody. Let's get on. We gotta help out Amanda here. So there you go. That's it for the show tonight. I don't know who's in the bed right now. Oh, nobody is in there. It looks like Blue... Oh my God, I think, God, this can't be true. Is this really going on right now? I'm not sure, but I think Blue and Chloe are in the same crate. I haven't verified it yet, but I think that they might both be in the same crate, and I'll verify that with you guys tomorrow. All right, everybody? So that's it for the show tonight. And as I always say, until next time,